There's a moment that happens to millions of people every few years. The old car starts making a noise, or a new model catches your eye, or you just decide it's time for an upgrade. You head to the dealership feeling good about it. You've got a stable job, decent credit, and you know roughly what you want. An hour later, you're signing papers on a car that costs more than you planned, locked into payments that will follow you for the next 5 or 6 years. And the whole time, it felt like a completely reasonable adult decision. That feeling, that sense of normalcy, is exactly what makes this one of the most expensive habits in middle-class life. The car loan has been so thoroughly normalized that questioning it almost feels strange. Of course you finance a car. Everyone does. You need transportation, you don't have $25,000 sitting in cash, so you borrow it and pay it back over time. What's the alternative? But that logic, as reasonable as it sounds, skips right over the most important part of the equation: what this decision actually costs you, not just in dollars, but in the compounding wealth you never get to build because the money keeps flowing out the door every single month. The dealership experience is designed from the ground up to prevent you from thinking clearly about cost. The moment you walk in, the conversation shifts away from the total price of the vehicle and toward one carefully chosen question: what monthly payment works for you? That question is a trap, and it's a brilliant one. Because once your brain locks onto a monthly number, it stops doing the real math. $500 a month sounds manageable. It's just $500. But $500 a month for 72 months, with interest, on a car that starts losing value the second you drive it away, that's a completely different story. You've just agreed to something your brain never actually evaluated, because the dealership made sure it never had to. Let's follow the actual numbers so this becomes concrete. You buy a $32,000 car. You put $2,500 down and finance the remaining $29,500 over 60 months at 7% interest. Your monthly payment is around $584. Over the full term of the loan, you'll pay roughly $35,000 in total. The car, meanwhile, depreciates fast, losing somewhere between 15 and 20% of its value in the first year alone, and continuing to drop from there. By the time you make your last payment, that car might be worth $12,000 or $13,000. You paid $35,000 for an asset worth $13,000. The other $22,000 didn't go anywhere useful. It went to the lender, to depreciation, to a system that was built to profit from the way people think about monthly payments. Now here's the part that turns a bad decision into a generational trap. When the loan ends, most people don't experience freedom. They experience the itch. The car is older now. Something newer looks better. And because the monthly payment is finally gone, there's suddenly room in the budget for another one. The cycle starts again. Over a working lifetime, this pattern can repeat 5, 6, 7 times. And each time, tens of thousands of dollars flow out instead of accumulating. The real cost isn't just what you paid for the cars. It's everything that money could have become if it had been invested and left to grow. The psychology behind all of this is what makes it so hard to break. Cars are one of the few purchases that touch both our practical needs and our deepest emotional ones. They're about freedom, identity, how we see ourselves, and how we think others see us. A new car delivers a genuine psychological reward. The smell, the feel, the looks from other people. And when something makes us feel that good, our brain is very reluctant to question the cost. We find reasons why it makes sense. We tell ourselves we deserve it, or that the payment is manageable, or that reliability justifies the price. These aren't lies exactly. They're just the stories we tell to protect a decision our emotions already made. There's also a subtler force at work called social mirroring. We look around at colleagues, friends, and neighbors, and we use what we see to calibrate what's normal. When everyone around you is financing a new car every few years, doing the same doesn't feel like a financial mistake. It feels like keeping up. The problem is that what looks like success from the outside often has a loan attached to it. The new car in the neighbor's driveway doesn't tell you anything about their savings account, their retirement balance, or how much financial stress they're carrying. You're comparing your insides to someone else's outside, and adjusting your spending to match a version of success that may not even be real. The practical shift starts with one change in how you frame the question. Instead of asking whether you can afford the payment, ask what the total cost is and what that money would be worth in 10 years if you invested it instead. A reliable 3-year-old car bought used and paid in cash, or financed over a short term at low interest, closes the wealth gap faster than almost any other single decision a person in their 20s or 30s can make. The depreciation hit on that car was taken by its first owner. You get the vehicle without the financial punishment. And every month you're not writing a check to a lender is a month that money can go somewhere that actually builds your future. Meat don't look the way we expect. They're often driving older cars, living in modest homes, and making financial decisions that look almost boring from the outside. They figured out early that the appearance of wealth and actual wealth are not the same thing, and that chasing one tends to prevent the other. The car loan feels like a small decision because it comes in small monthly pieces. But small decisions made repeatedly over a lifetime are exactly how wealth is built or quietly destroyed. You get to choose which direction those small decisions point. And it starts the moment you stop asking what you can afford per month, and start asking what you actually want your money to become.